I learned the middle finger from a Spongebob episode. The title might seem odd, but hear me out. Spongebob is one of my favorite childhood shows growing up, and it's also a lot of people's shows too. But anyway, I'm gonna tell you about the one time I learned how to use about how I learned to flip people off from a Spongebob episode. I know what you're thinking, but just watch this out. There was this episode of Spongebob called Once Bitten where it was like Gary gets a splinter and he would begin biting everyone. And after the guys had been bitten in the hand or arm or whatever, his arm would do this form to where it looks like it's flipping people off, like a middle finger thing. That's essentially where I learned it from. Yeah, because at the time, since I was young at the time, I didn't know it was flipping people off, so whenever people wasn't looking, I would do the finger thing because I thought, hey, it looks cool. And then one time when I was getting punished by Mom for doing something bad, what I did to deserve it is not relevant to the story. I would begin doing the middle finger to myself, and basically, Mom would look at it and be like, "Are you flipping off?" And I didn't know what that meant. And then they would teach me about how bad it is, and they would ask me where did I learn it from. I learned it from the SpongeBob episode, but I didn't tell them that out of fear that I would not be allowed to watch SpongeBob anymore, so I did what the one kid on the Christmas Story did, chicken out and blurt out the first word that came to mind. I said one of the kids' names that I went to school with at the time. I don't remember who I said for name, but for the sake of the video, I'm just gonna say it was Sugar Pie. Sugar Pie did it. It's all Sugar Pie's fault. I hate Sugar Pie so much. I love you, Sugar Pie. Yeah, Mom said I'm not allowed to be near the kid, which was fair because she doesn't go to school and she doesn't see me interacting with anyone, so who cares? I eventually, a few years later, like at least 1 or 2 years ago, I would tell Mom about this thing, and Mom says she doesn't remember it at all, because it was like a few years ago, like 2011, 2012, whatever, which would make me feeling guilty about the whole thing. Pointless. And I'm the only one suffering from this, and no one cares. Yes, it's like Jade Animations, where she feels guilty and no one cares. Yeah, that's that's how I learned the middle finger from a SpongeBob episode. Yeah, and I'm just clearing it up because it was one of the few things I feel guilty about. Well, don't feel guilty about anymore. You know what? Personally, I'm glad that I learned the middle finger from a SpongeBob episode. So that way, I can have a story, and so that way I can exploit myself all over the internet for the enjoyment of others. And for those of you sick people who like to enjoy other people's misery, I'm sorry.